YouTube world. Here we are with video number 4. I didn't know it'd be this many videos, but this is going to be the last one, I promise. So this is the dried result. Not quite dry enough to varnish, but before we get into that, I am actually quite pleased with this. I wasn't sure at first because the colours were still quite vivid for me, and even this bit here for me is quite saturated, and obviously I didn't saturate them. I didn't quite desaturate them enough by adding, I could have added a little tiny bit more blue to that to knock it back, but I wish I put more gold in. You can just see the gold coming through in this little cup here. I'm glad I put the dark bronze in there because it's just added a bit of texture to the bottom. And you can see how shiny it is already, and I've not varnishing this. Well, not varnishing it with a gloss varnish anyway. You can see the silver just poking through there. And this is the water, so quite shimmery. But what I'm going to do, just put that down there, is I'm going to work on that horizon with some paint and a brush. Now, anybody that knows the area where I live, Corfe Castle, referenced the photograph that obviously I got the idea from, is quite iconic in this area. For miles and miles and miles around, you will see the dip in the hills, and you know that's where Corfe Castle is. So I'm going to work on straightening this horizon here, putting the dip in, and just putting Corfe Castle in, or a representation of Corfe Castle. Now, you saw in the picture, and I fully intended actually to put the jetty in. The jury's out. I don't know. I'm going to think about that one because actually I quite like it as it is. Don't forget, this was only a test canvas for a larger piece, which I have to work myself up to do in the near future. Obviously I will film it, but I haven't done that many flip cups. I've done a few, but I love swipes. So, you know, there's hundreds of techniques out there that you could do. So today's video is a quick time lapse of me putting the hills in. Then I'm going to show you what I do to the back of my canvases. So this is all about finishing your painting. Okay, hopefully you can't hear my dryer in the background too much. I'll try and get rid of the noise when I edit the video. So I like to put my paintings on a easel. I have some lovely bright lights that shine down, daylight lights, so it does really help when you work in a good light. You get to see your colours properly. I have several brushes. I like to use long-handled brushes, some square tips to the round filbert tips of various shapes and sizes. Now, the reason why I like using long-handled brushes is because I don't like to work like this. I don't like to work really tight and constrained. I've done that too much in the past, and it shows in your paintings. Your paintings are very tight, and I'm trying to loosen up. That's one of the reasons why I got into fluid art in the first place, actually, because I was working so hard to loosen up my technique as a painter. And you can't help but be loose in fluid art, can you? Anyway, my brush is broken. So what I'm going to do, and I always do this, okay, I am a little bit crazy sometimes. It's like with the flip cups, I practice first. With a brush, just in my mind's eye, I'm thinking I'm going to go straight across that horizon. Then I'm going to do the dip. This is going to be in a very dark grey, not quite black. I'll use black right at the end. Then the The hills behind it are going to be more of a smoky colour, more of this colour. I'm probably bring them up slightly. We'll see. So I kind of get it straight in my mind what I'm going to do first. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mix up some colour. I have my golden titanium white. In one of my previous videos, I did explain that if you haven't got a decent titanium white to use for, not for fluid art, this is heavy bodied, for whitening your whites up, for enhancing your pores, for doing whatever you want to do, this is brilliant. I love it. I've got some black, and I am going to grab some deep violet. So with the hills, there's 3 colours, if you can see in this little clip. It's a little bit low res pixelated, but I've got the foreground detail, which is a mixture of black and very dark grey. Then the middle hill, which is more of a smoky colour, which is where the deep violet comes in, I hope. And then I've got a paler grey in the background. And I mean, I can recognise, I can pull out Corfe Castle there, but obviously if you don't know what you're looking at, you're not going to see it. So I'm going to start off with a white base. I'm going to take some white, good amount of white, just put it up there. Now I'm going to take some black, put it there, and I'm going to put a little bit of deep violet down here. Now, I might grab other colours, we'll see. So with a clean palette knife, I've got it all over my fingers, I'll take some of the white and I'll cipher some of this off. So that's my starting point, okay? Then I'm going to grab a bit of black and I'm going to make up a grey. Now, that's not far off the background colour, okay? So, but what I wanted to do is I want to match it more to my fluid art painting. I'm just going to go in with a tiny bit of deep violet and see what that does. It should warm it up slightly. Let's try again. So do you see how little I am adding to get a smoky grey? Smoky grey. There's my smoky grey. Now, I think probably it needs darkening up a bit. Just going with a little bit more black. Black goes a long way, guys. So there is my smoky grey for the background hill. Okay, so now I want to do that but a bit darker. So I will get some more white. Let's go down here. Add some black. A little bit more of the deep violet. So you can see that they're very similar. This one's a little bit darker, but not dark enough. I'm going to keep some of that. I'm going to put it next to that one. I'm going to darken up this bit. So I've actually got various shades there. It's just the way it's worked out. It's worth taking your time doing this, because colour is everything, isn't it? And if you put the wrong colour down on an acrylic pour that you've worked so hard on, and you can see, if you look back on my videos, you know very well how much prep's gone into this and doing it. Last thing you want to do is let it up. So take your time. So I keep my black up there. That's what I'm going to finish off with. And I'm going to start off with my palest colour. So I'm just going to interject here. I'm going to add some of this gloss glazing liquid from Golden. You just need a tiny bit, and it's almost as if you use it instead of water, because what I want to do is I want to blend in those hills in the background, because hills in the background you don't get a sharp line on the horizon, you get a very soft line, and this will help me blend acrylics. Okay, so you saw the quick time lapse there. I did do a little bit more after the camera stopped, just because sometimes I feel a little bit under pressure to get it right. So anyway, I'll show you the dried result of that at the end, but for obvious reasons, I won't be showing you how I'm going to seal it or varnish it or do whatever. Now, let's talk about varnishing. The very best video I have seen on talking about varnishing, not demonstrating it, is Courtney Hoelscher. I'll put the link here. If you haven't watched it, pause this video, then go watch it and come back, because it is really good. So I'm one of those people that I don't particularly like varnishing. I don't think I've met anybody that does like varnishing, actually. In fact, I really hate varnishing. So I will do anything not to varnish. Now, if you use Floetrol, your paintings will become very dull. Let me show you one that is using Floetrol. Oh, over here. So this was a flip cup using Floetrol. It's actually beautiful, but it's split there, and it's got a big tear in the canvas there, which one day I'll get around to repairing, and one day I'll get round to doing some big smudges through there with whites. Anyway, I would need to varnish this to really bring it back up, to bring the colours back to life. One day, eh? So if you use Floetrol, that's what you need to do. This, I used Liquidex pouring medium, did this a while ago, and that has had gloss varnish on it, so it's brought it back to life. That one. However, since I've been using PVA and water, do you know, they really don't need anything but a quick spray and a seal. So that is what I do. And you can use any kind of spray varnish. I have several, actually. This one's quite good. This one's quite cheap. This one's also very good. this one's quite expensive. Take your pick. Maybe in the future I will do a video on actually varnishing, but I'm just not brave enough to do that on camera in case I mess it up. So the back of the canvases. So on a cutting mat, I have cut some quite heavy duty brown paper. I'll put a link to this down below. It's got a glossy side and a rough side. The glossy side is the one that I want face up. So I've just cut this, look, about 5 millimeters shorter, smaller than the back of the canvas, all the way around, using the guides on my cutting mat, a very long steel ruler, which I would never do without, and a scalpel. Please be very careful when you use those items. Now, nice soft blanket that you can put your painting face down. So we're going to take the tape off. Let's put you around this way. Take the tape off. Do this when your painting is completely dry. Honestly, it's really not worth doing it when it's wet, because you will get yourself into all sorts of problems. Been there, done it. So as mentioned in my first video, this is the picture tape, not parcel tape, picture tape. And I'm going to be using that again. So it always sticks a little bit. This is where I use the scalpel to get the rest off. Slide it underneath and just yank it up. It'll come away quite easily. It's your choice to sign, just in case somebody takes the back out one day, it's your choice to sign the back of the canvas. I tend to just put my initials along the side with a Sharpie, like that, and the date. I'm going to cover it up anyway. So position your paper. So this really does cover up a multitude of sins. This is quite tricky, I'm not going to lie. So put it right on the edge, as near as damn it. With the heel of your hand, push it down. Turn it round. Oops. Sticky stuff. This end, just position it loosely. I'm trying not to get my head in the way. Position it loosely so that you can pull it. So it's tight so you can get it. Just trim the edges. It's really important to have a blanket, guys. I can't stress this enough. Something very soft anyway. So just heel of your hand. That's a lot neater, isn't it? So now we're going to talk about putting the hardware on. Just have a quick sip of tea. Just incidentally, we are coming to an end now, and I just wanted to say a really big thank you to everybody who's commented so far on these videos. I sometimes you second guess yourself and you think to yourself, well, who really would want to see all this? Because we can take an awful lot for granted, those of us who are on YouTube, think that you all, you all know these things. So thank you for all your wonderful comments. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, because it really does help me out. Yeah, quick sip of tea. So hardware. These come in kits. I'll put the link below. They come with screws and they come with wire. You can get all sorts of different weights. This one's quite thin, but I've run out of the gold to match. But anyway, this is a silver painting, so these will match better. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So you measure your painting and you mark a third of your painting with a pencil. There she is. So this is 50, so around about 16. It's about there. About there. I've already measured it that side. Trying not to get my head in the shot. Screwdriver. Always handy to have in your studio. So there's a flat edge to these little hooks. The flat edge goes down. The screw goes in, not right on the edge, because you'll see it and it won't look very nice. This is really fiddly, but persevere, gently push and screw. Flat edge, screw in. Sometimes they're a little bit tricky to get. That was really tricky to get in, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I think you just hit a knot in the wood. So the wire. Before you cut some off, take the end. This is the way I do it, okay? I go up into the loop, pull, I cross under, and I cross back through, and I tighten it. I then will, hopefully you are in shots, I then twist that wire along as neatly as I can. It's always neater one side than it is the other for some reason. About there, I'll snip that off. Turn it around, cut the wire, always more than I need. It's fiddly stuff, there's no two ways about it. That's a bit too much actually, go there. So I go under, it's from my scruffy cardigan, under, pull as tight as you can. There always will be give in this. There's no, you can't get it really tight, but you don't want it really tight because you want it to give. So when the person puts the painting on the wall, they can straighten it. It's got a little bit of give. And if you're not quite lined up, having a little bit given here will do wonders. Oh. Over, under. Yeah, good job of this, aren't I? Pull. And then exactly the same as the other side. Quick sip of tea. I now take some picture tape . Just a little bit. Trim it off really, really neatly. And you see where this wire is quite sharp, so you don't want somebody opening it up and cutting themselves. I think you'll have some complaints. So I literally will wrap that round, and also it stops it from unravelling itself. And there you have it. Now it's completely up to you how you make this painting your own. I will sign the back. I will pop a business card on the bottom. More often than not, I will personalise this painting to whom it's going to. If I know the person, I'll do a personal message. If I don't, I'll probably put a verse, a poem, a song that relates to the painting, which is quite tricky sometimes. So I will be Googling some kind of verse to do with a winter scene, maybe Oh Holy Night, because that was the theme, that was the questions to win this painting. So there you go. Make the back your own, personalise it, and there we have the finished painting. This is the finished painting. You see, I just added some silver in there. Here endeth the lesson. Lessons. Thank you. Please put your questions in the box below, and I will try really